Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Mallory's Weird World Adventures, the podcast. I'm your host, Mallory.
And I'm your host, Michael.
And we're here to show you just how weird this world of ours really is. But before we start, I want to make sure for those of you who are new, you know that Weird World Adventures is our adventure travel brand that highlights strange and unusual places. We have our TV show, Weird World Adventures, on Amazon Prime. There's 6 episodes of Season 1 available now, and 10 more for Season 2 releasing in the fall, so stay tuned for that. You can follow us at Mallory's Adventures on Instagram, at Malorie Mackey on TikTok, and Weird World Adventures on Facebook. And be sure to check out Mallorie'sAdventures.com daily for new fun blog posts. What about you, Michael? Social.
Oh, geez. I was going to say, it just sounds like a lot of Mallory stuff.
Well, and then I
Mallory
deferred to you.
I have limited.
That's why it's all Mallory.
I didn't name the company Mallory.
Well, I named it Weird World Adventures.
Okay, fine.
So
you can find me all there. I'm tagged in a lot of the Weird World Adventures social.
At Maldonado MD3.
Yes, I have a personal Instagram that is accessible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maldonado MD3. And I think that's my... Oh, geez.
I think that's it.
Mike Maldonado is my Facebook.
And then you're going to have lots of new Facebook friends.
Sure. I've had that Facebook since it long. I was generation 1, like, of Facebook. I was a freshman. Fall semesters when Facebook went live for, like, the college release, where you had to have an @edu email to access it. It was like however many colleges it went live at. That was a big semester. Sorry for the digression here, but
I like it.
That happened, and World of Warcraft launched in November of my freshman year. So let's just say my grades suffered significantly.
At least you didn't drop out of college for World of Warcraft.
And I had always, it was
close.
it was close there for a little bit. And I also had always heard about the freshman 15, and I went into college an underweight, like malnourished looking high school.
You were skinny.
Well, I was skinny. I was like maybe 120 pounds at the heaviest.
Oh my gosh, you weigh what I weigh.
And then came out of that freshman year about $145.
Oh, no.
I put on more than the freshman 15 there. All high school I was trying to gain weight to for sports, doing the protein shakes and like the high.
You just needed college.
And all that was thunder.
Oh my God, that was terrifying. We both just like jumped out of our chairs. There's a huge thunderstorm right now. Holy goodness, that was scary.
Yeah, like shook the
whole house.
We're on the 3rd floor in the sound booth.
And the whole house just shook, and I'm like, did something explode?
It's like still rumbling.
It is. Okay. I'm glad you said it was thunder, because I had
no
idea.
Yeah, something just exploded.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, anyways, huge digression. I'm not sure where I was going with that. Oh, The Secret, by the way, if you're trying to put on weight, as I was in high school. Cheap pizza, greasy pizza, and cheap beer.
Yeah, I was going to say beer and pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, there's the secret. That's the secret formula.
Milwaukee's Best is what I
gosh.
drank freshman year.
Oh, Michael. I want to say really fast, as a addition to your digression here, when Facebook first started, it's so embarrassing to go back and look at those posts because it wasn't set up the way that it is now. So it just had your name, and then you would say what you're doing, like, is going to get pizza.
Oh,
because it was like to tell people in your college what you were doing. So it was a great way to stalk people. So I'm sure that's why it changed, right? Like, is going here, is doing this. So if you go back far enough in, like, the flashbacks, it literally just says, is feeling like this today. And you're like, well, this just looks unhinged, because now the whole setup is different.
Yeah, I had a lot of is playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. It was like, it served as like the note you would put on your door for like your dorm mates to know what you were doing, except, digital.
I mean, it's funny to think now. It's like, wow, I definitely don't want people to know what Mike is doing at any given moment. People are just around me, in my vicinity.
It's scary. It's scary.
Stalker book.
But today's episode.
So find Mallory's stuff, and then you can kind of find my stuff.
Yeah. today's episode is very, very, very special to me, dear to my heart.
And has no significance to me.
He's going to
I have little to nothing to add here. So
we're going to be talking about the world of Andrew Lloyd. Oh my God,
wow.
I died. Wow.
Is it special
Andrew Lloyd Webber, but specifically the new Phantom experience called Masquerade. But before we get into Masquerade, I have to go back. We have to start at the beginning of all of this.
The Wayback Machine.
The Wayback Machine. Well, if we went way, way back, I first just fell in love with Andrew Lloyd Webber's work when I saw Cats. But we don't need to go to Cats. We don't need to go that far back.
That's way back.
I know. We don't need to go that far back. You said Wayback Machine.
I know. I want to go back now. I want to go way back. Is it middle school?
I first saw Cats when I was 9. It was elementary school.
That's when I met you.
Yeah.
That would have been
the year that we met.
I would have met, right?
It blew my mind. I watched it every day. My dad got me the VHS tape. I watched it daily.
It blew my mind. I didn't even could watch that.
Wow. It's so... If you just, like, turn off your brain and are there to have fun. Like, the imagination, just these people are acting like cats. And especially for children. It's really magical. I mean, the way that people can move like that. I mean, it's just... that's what got me into theater.
The magic was lost on me. I was 11 at the time.
And just sassed me mercilessly.
I remember making a lot of fun with you and my sister about it.
Oh, yeah. And so anyway, we don't need to go that far back. So in the last year and a half, 2 years...
So somewhat back machine.
Somewhat back machine. They revived Sunset Boulevard with the girl from the Pussycat Dolls. Nicole something.
I'm just lightly nodding through this conversation since I have almost nothing to add here.
I will say I don't know much about Sunset Boulevard. That wasn't really my jam. But it got rave reviews, and it was liked because it was edgy and dark and a little weird. And when she comes out in the curtain call, she's just covered head to toe in blood because, you know, she kills herself.
Spoilers!
Well, I mean, if you don't know by now, it's all over everything. But it was known for being dark and edgy and, you know, like regenerating Andrew Lloyd Webber's work, being almost modern and, like, edgy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so that started. That got rave reviews, and then it moved to Broadway. So now it's on Broadway, got rave reviews on Broadway. It was directed by Jamie Lloyd. No relation to Andrew Lloyd Webber.
She's looking at me with... knowing
guy covered in tattoos, super edgy,
I don't know.
Goes on brand.
I don't know.
Okay. Then
I've heard of Andrew Lloyd Webber. I've heard of Cats. I've heard of Phantom of the Opera. Honestly,
you've heard of Evita.
Heard of Evita. Mm-hmm. I honestly couldn't tell you if I've heard of Sunset Boulevard previous to our recent discussions about it.
It's not as well known.
Yeah.
Well, so then he moved into Evita.
Okay.
And now they have revived Evita. And I love Evita. You know that.
Oh
you know.
I know that. Yes.
I will say it adds a twisted, dark spin. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't necessarily add to that. But Evita needed some love because they did a revival in the West End in 2006, and then it came to Broadway in 2012 with Ricky Martin. And Michael Severus and Elena Roger. I saw it. It was all right. To be honest, I didn't love the direction of that production, and it was so gimmicky that you're like, this isn't going to fly in today's times. Like, Ricky Martin was doing jazz hands, right? You're like, okay, just stop. There's a line, I know you've heard this, where it's supposed to say...
Don't cry for me?
Not that one.
Oh, it's really the only one I've heard.
Do you now represent anyone's cause but your own? And Ricky Martin was, do you now represent anyone's cause but your own? I mean, like, really full Ricky Martin. And I'm like, I don't think I signed up for this. And then when you would go to, like, when I was in Broadway, they had the merch. And they had T-shirts that said, Livin' Evita Loca.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, they're like full gimmick on this.
Nice.
So to see a twist to that, I'm up for it. It needed to be modernized because it wasn't going to hit with, like, my little sisters, like Gen Z, right? It wasn't going to fly with them. You're laughing so hard at me because you have nothing to add.
I have nothing to add.
Well, I can say, so my love of Evita goes back because I actually studied the Perons. I wrote a dissertation on Eva Peron, Evita.
Okay.
And so I spent a lot of time in Buenos Aires.
How did your, like, fixation start with
Gosh,
with this?
I think it's because I saw Evita, like
Okay.
the play, when I was 16. And back then, when it was the traveling version, they actually used a projector screen as a big part of it, and they had actual photos of the Perones on the screen the whole time. So I'm like, oh, this is a real person. This is like an interesting set of history. They made it resonate with me because it was a musical. So I started going down the rabbit hole, and they're just so fascinating because, I mean, she revolutionized Argentina and gave women the right to vote and, kind of uprooted the class system in a world that at the time had a very heavy class system. So it was there's just so much political context, and I got just immersed into it. Then I read her autobiography, which is fascinating. And it kind of just delved down from there. And then when I was doing penguin research in Argentina, you remember November 2023? We were in Cabo de Bayos, which is all the way down in Patagonia where the penguins are.
Yes.
And we just happened to we were staying in Camarones, which is weirdly, that means shrimp in Spanish, but it was actually a fish capital. It was very bizarre. But it was one of the places that Juan Perón lived as a child.
Okay.
So his childhood home was there.
Okay.
And
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Okay.
I had no idea. So when we first went to the penguin site, we were on like the Juan Perón Memorial Highway.
Okay.
And I'm like, why is there a Juan Perón home? And once I brought it up, one of our guides is like, oh, his childhood home is here. There was a girl from the town that was like going in with us. And she's like, oh, talk to her. She'll want to take you. And she's like, oh, we have to take you to the Perón house. So then we wound up in the Perón house. And it was fascinating. Okay. So it just like, I don't know, whenever we start going down that rabbit hole, it just explodes. And so then after that, I was in Buenos Aires. I went to the Evita Museum. You're getting all the pictures and updates from the Evita Museum. And Museo Evita. And I wound up getting really sick. And I brought it home to you.
Yeah. That's really all I remember from... I was going to say, I have nothing to add to this except that you brought it home. And it had to be a Perón variant COVID.
You called it Perón COVID.
Perón COVID. And I hadn't been that sick maybe in adulthood. I had to work, too. I was on call that weekend that you got me sick with 103.5 degree fever, shivering but drenched in sweat under a blanket, just doing my whole shift 2 days in a row from home. I remember some of my partners at work FaceTiming me. I'm like, are you okay?
You're like,
not
no.
really.
I remember we took your temperature, and it was 103.5, and I was like, this has to be broken. I mean, I thought the thermometer was broken.
And then we took it rectally, and it wasn't.
And then we just found another thermometer. But we used the baby thermometer, and we're like, this has to be broken. And it wasn't. I didn't get that sick, but I did have a fever. And I remember I went to the house where the Perons lived.
It's a very long tangent.
It is.
On getting to Masquerade, by the way.
I know, but it's fine. We have time. We have time. We have all day. The Perons' house, it was torn down, but part of the structure is still there. And they turned it into this like Perón Foundation, the Juan Perón Foundation. So you can actually just walk into the Juan Perón Foundation and say, I want to know about Peronism. And they're like, okay. And then they just give you a tour and they talk to you about it. So I showed up and I was like, he's like, you speak English? Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Perons. And they have this video they play. And I'm
is it historical?
It's historical.
Or is it propaganda?
It's historical. I will say the Peronistas are still like a political party there, but it wasn't. There was no political.
It was the incumbent party recently, wasn't it?
For me, yes, it was up until I don't remember the guy's name, but their version of Trump took over. It wasn't political. At least as a tourist going in, they're just like, oh, we're gonna walk you around and show you the
Trump
house.
Is just Ma.
Yeah.
Make Argentina.
Yeah, Ma.
Or,
make
it's great. It's the same thing.
It's MAGA.
Okay.
Yeah, make Argentina great again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get the same hats.
Yeah, they get the same hats. Although he at least was classy enough to not have the hats. But I'm in there, and they're like, they have this. It's a historical video, and I'm in the video, and then Eva got sick, and in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it through this video. I realized, oh, I'm sick. And that was when the fever hit. And I'm like, I have to get through this and not pass out in this random place and get back to the hotel as fast as humanly possible. And I think I crashed for most of that day and just in my hotel with full fever. And yeah, it was no bueno. And then I brought it home to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And this great story, too.
And this great
that
story.
I've heard
Oh my God. Well, no one else has heard it.
I think they have. I think you did a whole Perone podcast. You're
probably
obsessed
did.
with these people.
I am. Okay, anyway. So Evita is now relevant again because they have revived it on the West End.
Okay.
With Rachel Ziegler as Evita.
Okay.
And it's getting so much PR. Whoever did the PR for it was just genius. And I know it's part Jamie Lloyd and his like edgy Evita dark styling for it, mixed with just somebody came up with the idea of we're going to have her sing Don't Cry for Me, Argentina out in the balcony of the London Palladium Theatre to the masses, not the people in the theater. So for the big number, every show.
It's the only song
that anyone knows.
I have heard.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I would have been able to tell you about anything related to Evita and Perone.
Right. Well, because the 90s, the movie came out and Madonna sang it, and it was all over our childhood with Madonna singing that song.
That's all.
Right. Exactly.
That's all I know.
And so she walks out. They have a camera person following her, and then it's projected onto a screen in the theater. Stop looking at me like that. And then she stands out.
I'm just looking at you with a face that says, I have nothing to say here because I don't have anything to say. I don't have any knowledge of this industry. Right.
Well, she goes out onto the, and then they have a camera placed under it they turn to. So they're projecting a close-up of her singing it inside the theater.
So you're watching a video of her singing it to crowds outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's out there singing it to people walking by on the street.
Got it.
And the second that people realized that was happening, everyone crowds outside to see it. So it's great PR. So now everyone's lined up outside to watch her sing. Because she's also kind of, she's a celebrity. So everyone wants to see it. She's, singing the iconic song. So it's become a huge crowd, which is what they want. So she's like actually singing to a huge crowd of people from the balcony. Yeah. And people are upset because they're paying lots of money to see the show. And they're watching her sing Don't Cry for Me, Argentina on a screen while everybody outside in the streets is getting a free show. But I mean, personally, I think that's genius because the Perones were about the common people, the people that couldn't pay, the people that aren't paying the money to see it, right? They're there for everybody.
Just as a side tangent here, I know you're very...
Yes?
Pro-Perone, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
But I know that they're, quote-unquote, for the people, but he was also a horrible dictator.
We're not talking about Juan Perón. We're talking about Evita. Different people, but yes.
They're different people, but they were the same political party.
I know.
And political entity.
Well, Argentine politics are brutal and horrible.
Well, sure, a lot of them. I'm just saying, you can't just say they're for the people. They were also horrible dictators, and pretty sure his other wife took over.
Well, we don't talk about Isabel.
After he died and just became the first woman president and just straight disappeared people.
Oh, she did. And
just
she got arrested for it.
People is alive in jail.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
Insane.
Oh yeah. The fact that she's still alive is crazy to me. Like it feels so far away.
And has been in jail for decades for murdering. I mean, what was the count?
It was a lot.
It was hundreds, thousands?
I think it was thousands.
I mean, you can't even call them murders. They were disappearances.
They disappeared.
I mean, they were definitely murdered, but...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But...
Anyways.
Evita...
Do they disappear people from New York, too?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, that's in London, so...
Oh, this is in London?
This is in London.
Oh, why did I think...
The West End.
Okay.
They're definitely going to bring it to Broadway now.
When you say... Again, this is how little I... When you say West End to me,
okay.
I think... Richmond has a West End.
Okay.
Our West End.
The West End
nothing to me.
is London's Broadway.
I know Broadway. That is the extent of my theater knowledge.
The West End is London's Broadway.
And by no, I mean I know it exists.
Right. Well, Evita represented the people. She was poor, and then she became the First Lady of Argentina. That's kind of what dismantled the class system.
Got it.
And the fact that they make it accessible for everybody, I think it's a great PR stunt. I think it's smart and on brand.
The stunt's clever.
Yeah, and it's on brand with Bannonism.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all. I just
got to disappear a few people and
right.
You're good.
Right.
Some undesirables.
And again, I have to see this show because this guy is edgy. And at the end of the show, everybody comes out and Che, the guy that plays Antonio Banderas' part from the movie, the guy that sings it all, Ricky Martin, that guy,
Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin.
I know Ricky Martin. You finally said a name that holds some meaning to me.
Antonio Banderas,
I know.
He comes out in his underwear covered in something like powdery so I don't know what happens, but it's edgy and weird, and you're just like, okay, well now I need to know what happens in there.
Gunpowder? Something to blow up?
Probably gunpowder. I mean, I think he dies at the end, right?
Oh, okay.
I mean,
so it's a happy one.
Right. Well, in the movie they did it where when she's dying of cervical cancer, she goes under and he gets like blown out, like knocked out or whatever, and then they're kind of like in some weird fever dream together.
Now she had
singing
HPV-related cervical cancer. Is that
yes? Well, I don't know if it was ever officially confirmed, but
assumed.
Both his first wife and her both died of cervical cancer. So the odds are he had HPV.
Got it.
Yeah. So I think it was HPV related.
Which we have a vaccine for now.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
It is. It's like a vaccine that actually can prevent cancer.
Right. That's good.
It's a double win.
Yeah, it is a double win. I like that.
Yeah.
If only they had it then.
See, I know that.
Yeah.
Because
you're a doctor.
Medicine. It has nothing to do with my knowledge of theater or Peronism.
But it's made me want to see it. It's definitely coming to Broadway. And so my point was they're bringing back a lot of Andrew Lloyd Webber's properties in very modern, edgy ways. And I will say he is very good at just being up on the times and trying to get people in the theater in new ways. That's what they did. That's how we work together.
Is this kind of like that edgy version of Cats they did on Instagram with Malorie Mackey?
Oh my God, that's what I was getting to. Oh my
Mackey.
God. So I had my dreams come true during COVID when I kind of like worked with Andrew Lloyd Webber because he did this Musicals in Isolation.
I know when you say you had your dreams come true, it's because it's Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yes.
But I do like to think that it's also because you got to dress up like a giant cat.
Yeah, I got to put on my cat outfit because I do have a Rumple Teaser outfit from Cats.
The fact that you had this, it wasn't like, oh, he wants me to do this, I need to go get a cat outfit. It's like, oh, I'll just put on my finest cat outfit that I already happen to own. Yep,
and I performed Macavity.
What's the guy's name? The cat?
Macavity? Oh, I was Rumple Teaser.
You say that. Oh, how silly of you to ask that question. Of course I was Rumple Teaser.
Right.
What?
Right. That's the cat's name.
That's not a name.
The cats all have crazy names. They're cats.
But that's not even a name you would name a cat.
T.S. Eliot came up with it when he was on opium. It's in Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats.
All right.
So that wasn't even a Webber thing. That was a T.S. Eliot thing.
Okay. I'll respect the opium.
All right, yeah. Opium-infueled children's poems turned into like psychedelic musical.
Rumple Teaser.
Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser.
Mongo Jerry?
Yes. They were a notorious couple of cats. Anyway, I perform Macavity in my Rumple Teaser outfit. Yeah. Wrong cat, but something
Check
I had.
that out if you're going to her social
Instagram,
feeds here.
Yeah. And I'll repost it tomorrow.
Oh, you should.
So make sure you go to @Malorie's Adventures, MALORIES Adventures on Instagram. I'll repost the video tomorrow of me singing Macavity in my Rumple Teaser outfit with my black cat. So it was great. And then I got Andrew Lloyd Webber posted on his socials. And I was just so excited. It was like...
You've arrived.
I've arrived.
In my finest Rumple Teaser outfit.
And then we, stayed in touch with him and his team. I got, we were interacting on social, which was really exciting. And I got a few Phantom auditions out of it. So that was really exciting. Anyway, that was my wonderful excitement there. And because...
You sing Phantom well.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I really... One day I'll be Christine.
One day you'll get there.
Yeah.
You sang it right here in the sound booth.
I have.
I've heard you singing it from the shower too.
Oh,
I've caught you. Yeah.
I'll post some Phantom videos later too. They're fun. I really, it's my like guilty pleasure to just sing Phantom around the house. And I've been singing Don't Cry for Me Argentina now because it's all over Instagram.
We all
over Instagram. Yeah. But because of the media that we're doing for our show and my ties to the Webber team from all of that, we are going to get to go to the previews for Masquerade. Masquerade seems like it's a different director, so I don't really know what to expect, but it seems like the edgy modern, we're trying to present the show in a new way to a new generation of people. So it's kind of the same idea of what they did with Sunset Boulevard and Evita. They're doing with Phantom. It seems like it's going to be edgier because, so it's off Broadway, and they're, from what I understand, doing the full musical of Phantom, but rather than going in and sitting and watching Phantom, you're going through piece by piece, room by room, through the different environments and watching the show that way.
Okay.
Which I've never heard of anything like it.
Yeah.
It's and I know it has the live actors and they're still doing the theatrical performance for it because they've brought in the cast, and I know a lot of the people from like old Broadway that they're reprising their roles.
It feels almost interactive.
Yeah.
Moving from room to room.
Yes.
Watching the scenes unfold.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I mean, it definitely adds another element to it. And because, one of the big songs in Phantom is Masquerade. That's the title of it.
I know.
And you're going in masquerade attire. So when you go, you have to show up in either a cocktail dress or a formal dress or like nice clothes for men in black, white, or silver. And then you have to wear a masquerade mask.
I like that.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So it kind of adds to it. So you're kind of going into the Phantom's Masquerade. It's very cool.
Yeah, I like it.
And like and apparently for at least the previews, you have to be 21 plus because they give you like Prosecco.
Oh, so you actually feel like you're at
at a masquerade party.
I like that.
So it's like you're at this like adult masquerade party and you have your your drink and you're going through. So it's a really cool. I've never heard of anything like it before.
So you're going room to room and the actors singers are in the scene with you.
Yeah.
I'm assuming like a subset of the total crowd.
Yes.
At any
the way that they're
almost
doing
like a ride.
it. Yes,
like
because
a haunted house or something where they bring in 20 people and stagger them. Is that?
Yeah,
okay?
because the way it's working, everybody has time slots. There's like 15-minute intervals or 20-minute intervals that you go in.
That sounds exhausting if you're the
actors.
Or the actor,
I know.
Right?
Well, you're doing one scene on repeat.
Over and over
every
every 15, 20 minutes.
I know. Unless the whole cast goes through and does the show in
that's a good
time with
point.
you. I don't know.
Maybe.
We haven't done it, so.
But then, if that's the case, the whole show would have to go at one. The whole audience would have to be at one time.
That's true. It
right?
depends. Yeah, I guess so. I guess there's not that many people to go through. I don't know.
Or do they have basically like three casts?
They have many casts because regardless, they're going to have many casts. There's going to be like several Christines, several Phantoms. Right. There's going to have to be. And I know, based on just the descriptions that they've said, like, you'll be in the Phantom's lair. Like, one of the sets is like, the Phantom's lair. Mm-hmm. And then the rooftop, where they go up on the rooftop. That's like, they talk about going into the lair and then up above. So I'm assuming you're going to be in those settings, cool. Which is cool. And a lot of it takes place in the theater, so.
And someone from each group has the chandelier fall on them.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, good. Add some danger to it.
I went to the Paris Opera in 2016, 2015, something like that. Uh-huh. And they're so exhausted hearing about Phantom, but then they also embrace it because that's why everyone goes there now.
Yeah, that would be the main modern draw. Right.
And so they have a plaque on box 5 that says this is the box of the opera ghost.
That's funny.
So which is cute.
That's clever.
And the woman was like, okay, because when Gaston Leroux died, he's the one that wrote the book. Mm-hmm. He swore on his deathbed the book was real. He's like, these are like, and if you read the book, the first chapter is this is a real story. Like he is like insistent that he's not making it up.
Making up what? I guess I'm confused.
The tale of the opera ghost, the Phantom of the Opera.
There's no ghost.
Well, the Phantom's not a ghost.
That's what I'm saying. So
right. Well, it's because.
Again,
I know.
I know some. I mean, I know what maybe an average person on the street would know about Phantom. Mm-hmm. I know that.
You have to read the book, though.
Yeah, I've not read the book. you showed me the movie
Yes.
version of it, and I have never seen the play live.
Yeah.
So that's the
It's
extent
gonna be
of my
really
knowledge
exciting
about it.
for you to see it for the first time.
So there's
like
a ghost,
that.
I guess.
No, he calls himself the Opera Ghost.
Okay.
So in the Phantom of
But
the
he's
Opera,
just a dude with a...
yes, but he presents himself as the Opera Ghost, and he's like messing with everybody. Like he's a technical genius, so he's just like making things happen and saying it's the ghost. Okay. And then, like, the managers, he's, like, demanding money, and if you don't give me money, this is going to happen.
Yeah, he's
extorting
them.
No one, like, besides, like, the ballet girls, no one thinks there's a real ghost. They know there's a guy there messing with them.
I guess what I'm asking is the author.
Mm-hmm. He thinks that the Phantom of the Opera was a real person.
Okay, so he thinks there's a
He's saying it was a real story, and this is a real person, and this happened. And the chandelier, so this is what we talked about at the Paris Opera.
I mean, I'm kind of with him. Surely there's a person trying to extort people with tricks. That seems very in the realm of plausibility. I'm the skeptic of the two of us. I'm just saying, I totally believe that there was a fraudster trying to extort people.
And the chandelier did fall, quote unquote.
Okay.
Like so, but it's become like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's telephoned out of control, right? It's become exaggerated.
Sure.
Part of the chandelier, one of the weights fell and killed somebody in the Paris Opera around that time. So they were saying, well, that's what that was.
Okay, so there was probably several
things that happened.
Several related stories in the span of
Yeah, and they found
years or a decade, and they all become one story.
Yeah, they found a body under the opera. So there was a bunch of stories that came together.
Really, you're just saying at some point there was some guy basically committing some minor instances of fraud and trying to extort people, and somebody got killed by someone falling off the ceiling. And maybe some people had a love story at some point. Right. And they're not even necessarily all the same story, but we're going to put them in the same story. Yes. And that's believable.
Yes.
Sure.
Right.
Okay. Sure.
And it's similar and also quite different, like the book. So it's where I like my love of the musical aside, it's a great book. If you like Dracula, you'll like Phantom of the Opera. Same time period, same like Gothic literature. It's very good. And it's actually in the point of view of the managers being messed with. And your guy, Raul, is actually the POV character.
Is that who I am?
Yeah.
Why am I that guy?
Because you're my rich childhood friend that came back and said, Mallory, come to the light. Your life can be wonderful. I love you.
So I'm the POV character.
Yeah.
Well, now I want to read the book.
Right. Exactly.
All right. You sold me.
Yeah. It's a great book.
I like books about me.
Right.
Primarily me, about me.
Right.
Actually, it sounds awful. Read a book about you. I would hate that. I don't even like to read minor comments about myself. Fantasy. Full high fantasy.
Yeah.
That's what I like to read.
It's pretty spot on from like piece to piece in the book until it gets the end is quite different. But the themes are the same. And something I liked is there are a few musical pieces that are written into the book because it's at an opera. And Andrew Lloyd Webber, when he created Phantom, took that text and made it music. Like he like some of that is actually in the musical. Cool. It's very cool. But yeah, I have no idea what to expect other than that.
How old is the book?
1890s, I think.
Okay. And then it was turned into a play.
It was turned into a musical. It was turned into a silent film first, which was very unlike the original book.
It is ironic to think it was turned a book taking place in an opera house about music, or centered around music, was made into a silent film that then was made into a musical. It was,
it went through once it was like iconicized by Universal as a silent film, it went through many iterations. So Hammer Horror did one. Yeah. Universal did a new one, new quote unquote, in like the 50s with the guy that plays Louis in Casablanca was the Phantom.
Okay. I mean, the movie, it's fine. It makes sense to me to have it as a movie. It just seems like a specifically odd choice to make a silent movie. I know that's all they had, but it's just if you have like all the great works of literature and you're like, what would be great on silent movies?
The Phantom of the Opera.
How about a book about music?
Right. I
don't know. I'm sure it was.
It wasn't good. I didn't like that silent film at all.
I'm sure my grandparents loved it.
They probably did.
My grandfather would have loved.
At the time, it was so shocking when they took off his mask that ladies fainted in the theater, which is hilarious because it's really not that bad if you watch it now.
He's probably just mildly scarred on one side.
And it's...
Your face isn't symmetrical underneath.
Oh my gosh. And it's, I mean, the only person who thinks that it might be a ghost is, all the little ballet girls. Like, oh my gosh, there's a ghost doing all these scary things. And then in the beginning, Christine believes that he's like an angel that her father sent to her. Until she realizes that it's a person.
Okay. Another side tangent here.
Yes.
The whole trope, the modern trope of women just fainted back in the... It's just so odd to me. If anything, to me, if I just guessed, like, wouldn't men and women from back at the turn of the century be just
equally as
even more, like, I guess, resilient to that kind of thing? Think of like childbirth, and like illness and
death,
and sickness and death during that era, pre modern medicine,
amputation.
Yeah, like,
oh my god, yeah. You think
wouldn't they just be more resilient? Like, oh sure, that's another scarred face.
Right.
We've got 10 guys in town with that because we don't have any way of treating things.
It's true.
It's just odd to think that they're like more,
it is funny.
more frail.
Yeah.
Seems like they'd be less frail.
I think women
just
were like
from life
caged
being,
though, right? So
like maybe the high
class,
society.
Yeah, high society. I'm sure if you could afford a movie at that time, you had money probably.
Okay, well,
maybe it was just a high society ladies.
Just the ladies that are seeing this.
And it was probably expected of them to act like that.
It has
at
to be
point.
theatrics to some
so.
extent.
Yes,
right? Like, I'm expected to be dainty.
Yeah.
I just think of like
the fan.
Yeah.
Because I think that was what was valued in women, was like delicacy, right? You're delicate
so
and fragile. And
to some extent, cultural expectation in your acting.
Yeah, because women are having their periods every month. I'm way better with blood than men because, I mean, more men faint giving blood than women do.
My anecdotal experience is also 100% that. This is not based on any rigorous science. However, in my personal experience, the bigger, more jacked guy it is, just the bodybuilder looking dude, running back looking linebacker build, worst patient in medicine. But for like procedures, for like needlework, not just anything, but specifically for anything that's gonna maybe hurt a little bit. Just like you're gonna stick that needle. Whereas you'll go to some dainty woman, you're just like, all right, I'm gonna stick. I do some spine intervention.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna stick this needle into your spinal sac that surrounds your spinal cord. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Do your worst.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do.
That's so funny.
It's like a direct,
it's so
directly inversely correlated with how big and masculine the person is to
it's really funny.
How much I've had people
how much they can take.
By people, giant jacked guys scream when I'm just like sanitizing their back with the little wipe.
My gosh.
All right, this is it's like, it's just a wipe. I'm just wiping off your skin.
Hold on.
We haven't even gotten to the good part yet.
Oh my god. I will say, when I was having my super vaguely medical issues, we were trying to, I think I had an intestinal infection was what it kind of wound up being. And I had a lot of issues for a while after I got back from Finland, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong for a bit. And it was a whole thing. And I was like vagling all the time. And then when you start to be like, I'm going to pass out, you just panic, right? So then it gets so much worse because you're panicking about it.
You feel it and you can't do anything about it.
And so then you panic. And so then I became panicky because I'm like, oh my God, it's going to happen again. So I became on it. And like I vagaled all the time, and I felt like a woman from the 1800s. Like I'm so delicate.
No! The Phantom took off his mask.
And I really felt like that. And I remember I made that comment to several people. Like I feel like one of those hysterical women to do something about her.
It's that wandering uterus. And that's what hysteria means.
Seriously?
That's what it translates to.
No, it doesn't.
Wandering uterus.
No, that's horrible.
Yeah, I know, right? It's pretty bad.
Oh my gosh, I learned something today.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. But anyway.
Oh, mine, my wandering uterus.
Oh. I mean.
Terrible.
Yeah. I mean, seriously. We get poked and prodded, I feel like, so much worse than you guys.
Oh, for sure.
Though.
Yeah,
so,
no.
Yeah.
I think overall, guys way less, or what I'm looking for here, lower pain threshold.
Yeah.
And fear of procedure type stuff threshold than women on the whole. Not everyone. I like to think I have quite a high pain threshold myself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have to say,
on average.
I'm going to the doctor like every couple weeks now, and I have to get blood every time.
Yeah, when the first time, I know you're worried you're gonna pass out from blood because you just vagal.
I vagal.
Yeah.
I vagal on roller coasters too.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah.
It happens, and well, when we went in, you had to give 6 vials. I had to give 9.
9 vials.
And then when they just say, don't eat, show up, it's 1 o'clock.
So
and then you have to give 9 vials of blood. I'm like, I'm not going to make it.
The first time I drew blood on somebody in school, we just paired off. And again, this is another good example of this. The guy I'm paired with is 6-foot athlete. You know? Yeah. And we're just, we were like classmate friends and just pair off. And he sticks me first. And I've never had an issue with the blood stuff. And I was watching him do it. I'm like, oh, got it on the first try. Awesome. And then I go to do him like, all right, gotta do just as well. I hope I have to do it in one try. And I nail it in the first time. And I'm just focused on his arm, right? Yeah. I'm not looking at him or anything. Yeah. And I get it in there and I'm like, get the blood. I'm like, first try, I get it. And I look up at him and he's just white as a ghost, just blank staring at me. And I'm like, are you okay? And he just slow motion tips sideways out of his chair, collapses on the ground, needle pulls out blood. And I was like, oh my God, I killed the first person I touched. This career is not for me.
That's really funny.
So
you've heard my bacon story, right? I have to tell my bacon story to everybody.
Oh boy. I'm sure I have.
I had to give blood for whatever routine blood work was happening. And they're like, don't eat before you come in. And I scheduled my appointment for 11, which was pushing it, but I'm like, well, I'll be out by 12 and I'll be really hungry, but I can make that work, right? Mm-hmm. And I forgot that morning and had made bacon and then was like, oh, I can't eat this. So obviously I just put it in a bag, like a gallon bag, and put it in my purse. Because I was like, well, I'll just eat it when I get out of the doctor.
You brought a bag of bacon in your purse?
Yes, because I was worried about I have to eat. So I need to bring the bacon.
Can you just get something out?
I don't know. I really wanted the bacon.
And put the bacon in the fridge for...
I wanted the bacon. Okay. And I can't pass on bacon. And so then I get there, and they were behind. And I sat in that waiting room for an hour, and I was like, is someone going to see me?
See, now you're just taunting yourself with that bacon.
Right.
Because it's right there.
Right.
Asking to get eaten.
And then they finally bring me in at an hour late at noon, and they didn't get to drawing my blood until 1 o'clock. Because of I never went back to that office. It was a terrible office. And everything was just a cluster to where it just kept getting pushed. And then it's 1 o'clock. And okay, we're going to take your blood now. And I haven't eaten. This is back when I was kind of having problems. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it.
So already panicked.
Yes.
In the mode to be panicked because of setting off.
Yes.
It was food-related
problems. It was food-related problems, yes.
Yeah. This is just asking for a problem.
So here. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And so the woman, I told her, I'm like, I'm afraid I'm going to pass out because, I'm having all these issues. That's why they were taking the blood. Mm-hmm. I haven't eaten anything. It's 1 o'clock. I'm starving. I vagal. I'm going to pass out. And she's like, well, normally it's the men. And she talks to me. She was very good. And I was like, okay, before you take the blood, I have this bacon in my purse. Can I just have this ready to go for when we're done? And she's like, okay, you do what you need to do.
Bacon.
And she took the blood. I didn't pass out. And then I got my bacon.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, this woman is going to think this woman has bacon in my office. What is happening right now?
She definitely judged you.
Oh, she judged me. I'm sure I'm the bacon girl now.
For sure, right? You go home and you won't believe the patient I had today.
She had bacon in her purse.
Brought bacon with her in a Ziploc bag in her purse. Lunatic.
Oh, no, it's true, though. Anyway. Masquerade.
Masquerade, yeah.
Masquerade. Yeah. Paper faces on parade.
I'm going to bring my bacon.
To Masquerade.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect, but I'm really excited.
It sounds very cool. It sounds, like I said, almost like a theme park ride.
Yeah.
Or experience.
Experience, yeah.
It's experience.
It makes sense with the popularity with all those weird art museums that keep popping, like the Museum of Ice Cream, the things that everyone was freaking out about. But, it's revolutionizing Phantom in a totally new way. And no, I've never been to anything like that.
it sounds as somebody who's had minimal to contribute to the actual topic that allegedly this episode is about, although it's questionable at this point. I mean, I'm excited to see it. It sounds very cool and different.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going full Masquerade lunatic.
Oh,
if
definitely.
if I'm gonna do this, I'm going full cape.
Oh yeah.
I'm going full insane. With
full
this.
insane, definitely,
Right.
Definitely. We're gonna have these like elaborate
Go
costumes.
big or go home.
Oh, definitely.
Or stay home.
Now we have to have masquerade outfits made. I'm really.
We have to have them made. I'm sure they sell masquerade outfits.
I've always wanted to like host a masquerade.
Should I just show up in your cat outfit and be like, oh shit,
Wrong
show.
Definitely.
Okay, good.
I've always wanted to do a masquerade. So this feels like I'm getting to do that, right? Like, you know, you have to do the full get up and it's like, I don't know, for me, it couldn't be more exciting to see Phantom in a different way. Every time I see Phantom, like if I had to pick one show that I could go see, I would be so excited. It's Phantom. Okay. So getting to do that like this, I'm very excited. So we're going to go twice. Well, I'm going to go twice.
Well, you're going to go twice.
But I'm really excited to see what it's going to be like. And we'll, of course, update you guys after we make it there.
I'm going to go once. Full lunatic gear.
Yeah.
Or cat.
Full
undecided.
Black cat.
Black
Has to be black. So black cat. Yeah.
Is that what?
Mr. Mistopheles.
That's another cat?
Yes. That's the one that Marissa liked.
Mr. Mephistopheles?
Mistopheles. Magical Mr. Mistopheles.
Mestopheles. So not Mephistopheles.
Mistopheles, no.
So not the devil.
No.
Okay.
No. He's the magic
I respect
cat.
that because, you know, it's got the devil name in there.
I have a fun game before we leave.
Oh
boy.
God.
I'm gonna.
What was the other guy? Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelteazer.
Rumpelteazer.
I'm gonna come up with names here, and you tell me if it's a cat or not.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay. Jelly Lorum.
Cat.
Jemima.
Well, it's a syrup. And Jemima syrup, so not cat.
It is a cat.
Oh my God. But it's also a syrup.
Dawn Giddle.
Cat.
Not a cat.
I was trying to metagame and be like, maybe they're all gonna be cats. There's 2 in a row. Okay, they're not all cats. So I'm 1 and 3. 1 out of 3 here. Okay.
Demeter.
Well, it's a Greek god and a boat in Dracula, so not a cat.
Also a cat.
God damn it! Do I get partial credit for knowing the other things that
partial
it's
credit.
for? Okay.
Yeah, partial credit.
No, the game's cats. No credit. I can't
Okay.
give it.
Okay.
I wouldn't allow it if I was doing the game, so I can't allow it for myself.
Monkey strap.
Cat.
Yeah.
You wouldn't make a monkey strap.
Victoria.
Not a cat.
That's a cat.
God, that's so normal.
I know.
How do you have Rumpelteazer and Victoria in the same thing?
That was fun. You know McCavity's a cat. That would be cheating if I did that.
I do.
One. You didn't know
this
that.
cat right here.
Yeah. Well, no, McCavity is the cat she's singing about.
Oh, that's your lover cat.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's like the bad boy cat.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, me and him are going to have some words later. He's moving into my Catwoman. He's moving into my feline.
Yeah. I'm trying to
come up with some
ones.
bullshit. This one's not a cat.
Well, Rum Tum Tugger.
Well, okay, cat.
You know that's a cat. You know that one. Autumn liked that one.
I did know it was cat, but you just thought about it too long, and then okay.
I know.
Why did she see that one?
He was like the Elvis cat. She watched that and she was into it.
Okay. I know you're dying to get her to actually sit through that whole thing.
She liked it.
She saw part of it.
Yeah, she asked for it the next day.
It's because it's insane looking.
Right.
And kind of looks like something you would just see on kids' YouTube.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Right. I mean, I would much prefer her to be cultured and like Andrew Lloyd Webber than Blippi.
I do like that you consider watching Rumpelteazer and Patty Whammer dance around a stage in cat gear cultured, but sure. Yeah.
Cats was a book of poetry written by T.S. Eliot.
I didn't know that till you told me that.
Yeah, it's called Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats.
But he's on opium. I mean,
he was on
give
opium.
the guy a break here. You're allowed a few, cat fantasies.
It was a children's book.
Sure.
And Disney actually came to his widow and asked if they could buy the rights to the cats. And she said no.
Oh, wow.
And then gave it to Andrew Lloyd Webber.
That's really funny.
I know.
I'll be damned if Disney takes this and does something with it.
I know. No Mungo, Jerry, and Rumple teaser for Disney.
Mungo, Jerry. All right. Where were we on the game?
I
don't know how many. I've scored
right.
twice. 2. I'm below just random guessing so far.
Okay, I have 2 more.
Okay.
Snizzlewag.
Cat.
Not a cat.
Oh my God.
Old Deuteronomy.
Cat.
Yeah.
I was just going to go cat the whole... I was going to go down swinging at cat here.
Cat. Anyway, that was fun.
Okay. I did not well.
That's not a bad thing, I feel like, though.
Yeah. Knowing all that would be the bad. That would be the embarrassing thing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. I feel like we've talked enough cats and Andrew Lloyd Webber and all things wonderful. So, to summarize...
Masquerade. Experience.
It's going to be amazing. We're very excited to try this. I mean, I think like this is the first time someone's done something like this, as far as I know anyway. So it'll be a really fun podcast to follow up after we do it. So we'll make sure to keep you guys updated. I'm trying to get an interview for the show. They were interested in potentially having it covered for the show. So if we could get some kind of interview, maybe go backstage, that would be great. And
if not, McCavity might be available.
Right.
So we'll just pivot.
Yeah, we'll ask him. He's the mystery cat.
He's the other guy.
He's the other guy.
The other guy. In this love triangle.
Yeah. That's the one part of Cats that's a little weird to me, is that he's like the bad cat, and he gets in a fight with the cats, and it's like dance fighting. It's kind of like, West Side Story. You're like, I don't need to see dance fighting.
Nice.
I don't need to see dance fighting. But
Nice.
Yeah. And then sometimes they rub on each other, and it's weird.
I'll be honest. I know almost nothing about cats other than it's insane.
Yes.
But I really thought that one of the cats was Mephistopheles, and I just figured, well, that's the bad one. It's the devil cat.
Mephistopheles.
But apparently that has nothing to do with it. Okay.
Mr. Mephistopheles. Back when theater was more intricate and they put more money into it, you would go see Cats in a touring version. And that cat would point at things and, they would explode. It had, pyrotechnics. You're like, whoa! Now they don't do that anymore, so it's not quite as exciting. I miss the pyrotechnics in Cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also some pretty racist stuff in T.S. Eliot's work, so they had to edit it over the years.
When would that have been written?
Early 1900s.
Yeah.
Right?
Turn of the century-ish time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems on point for that time of history.
Yep. So it's been edited a few times. But, yep. Anyway, we will follow up with you guys about Masquerade soon. Thank you for listening to my nerdy tangent. Haven't seen Sunset Boulevard. Really supportive of this new crazy Evita stunt. Really excited about Masquerade. So we'll follow up with more once we go.
Sounds good.
Are you excited?
I'm excited for Masquerade.
Yeah, it'll be really good.
Yeah.
And that's all we have for you guys today. Make sure you tune into Weird World Adventures on Amazon Prime and visit maloriesadventures.com, MALORIES adventures.com. And don't forget to turn into my Instagram tomorrow to see my crazy cat video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which cat were you again?
Rumple Teaser.
You're Rumple Teaser.
Yeah. Well, so
singing to McCavity.
Singing about McCavity.
Okay. All right.
Well, it's really in the play, it's Demeter. And Bombularina, that's another one. Bombularina.
Oh my God.
Demeter and Bombularina sing about McCavity.
Okay. Check out our Instagram and look at this. Look at this lunatic dancing around in an adult cat onesie, basically.
I feel so seen in a bad way.
That she did not buy for this.
I made it.
But you
not
had
for
it.
this.
Yeah, you.
Oh, I had it.
You already had it.
It's the same outfit I was on Let's Make a Deal on.
God, you still owe me that.
Oh, I have to find
I haven't
it.
seen that clip.
I don't have it, though. I have to find it. My sister might be the one to get that from.
This is another total tangent.
Yes. Anyway, until next time, everybody.
Stay weird. Masquerade.
Paper faces on parade. Masquerade.